Ankit Mehrotra. He's the co-founder of Dineout, and it's been almost 8 years for Dineout. It has been operating in the food tech space. They are curating an array of services when it comes to the restaurant tech space. So let's talk to him and find out more about what they have been doing and how they have evolved their offering over the years.
Yeah.
Welcome to your story, Ankit.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk about Dineout. What have you been doing of late and how have you evolved your offerings over the year?
Wow, yeah. So we started off Dineout in late 2011, early 2012. Right. And we've come a long way from that, obviously. We're one of the few food tech, I think we're the second oldest food tech player in India.
Right.
And over the years, we've actually, gone through a lot of changes and evolution. And we've been able to position the business very successfully across two distinct verticals, B2C and B2B.
Right.
What I mean by that is on the B2C side, which is Dineout, we offer a 360-degree service to the diners for their dining out needs. And on the B2B side, when we talk about that, we're able to offer again a full 360-degree service to our restaurant partners in helping them improve their services. So on the B2C side, when we started off in 2012, we started off as a table reservation platform.
Right.
And at that time, what we realized was, and obviously across the years that we've been doing this, that early in 2012, people did not want.
That's all right.
People did not want to reserve. The people felt that there's no need to reserve a table because those were the early days. But gradually, people warmed up to the whole idea of reserving a table, and we graduated from there on now to actually calling ourselves a dining out platform.
Right.
And the reason for that has been our evolution over the last, sort of 7-8 years. Because what we realized when we look back about this entire journey is that table reservation as a use case was only being sort of required 3 to 4 times out of 10 times when a user is going out at probably high-end restaurants. When we look at the entire journey of a user, what we realized was that payments actually was the one thing that every diner needs to do after a meal.
Right.
So in 2016, we started to look deep into the whole restaurant payment side. And now we're one of the largest, we are the largest restaurant payment platform where a diner can use the Dineout app to pay the restaurant bill at across more than 12,000 restaurants in 11 cities.
Right.
So we went from being table reservations to table reservations plus payments, and we believe that covered another 3 to 4 use cases. So now we are catering to 8 out of 10 times when a user is looking to go out or step out of the house, because you're going to a Farzi cafe or a social and you're reserving through Dineout, but you're also going to a Chayo's or a KFC and you still need to make payment. So the same user can now use the Dineout app at both the instances. But we still realized that when we look back that there was a small set of users in India who, in spite of giving them everything, were just not using any of the platform or any services, and they were very last minute. And for them, we actually came up with a new offering which is called Gourmet Passport, which doesn't require you to reserve in advance, doesn't require to make any payments. It's a subscription product which gives you a 1+1 at the top 1,000 restaurants across 8 cities.
Right.
And that is a pure, simple walk-in product. So as soon you walk into the restaurant, you mention that you have Gourmet Passport and you get this 1+1. So in this entire reservations plus payments plus Gourmet Passport use case, what we believe, one thing that stands out for every user is the fact that with every single interaction on the Dineout app, you save some money. So whether it's reservations, it comes with a 15-20% discount at the restaurant. Whether it's payments, you get a lot of cash back. Whether it's Gourmet Passport, you get 1+1. So that is something that we've always stuck to, is delivering value to the end consumer for using the Dineout platform from a B2C perspective. So that's something that we've evolved over the years into a pure play dining out platform.
Correct.
On the B2B side as well, we've evolved a lot. So when we were actually starting out and when we spoke to a lot of these restaurant partners, what we realized that the one thing the one challenge that always remained was that restaurants did not recognize their customers.
Right.
So what I mean by that is, think about the last time that you probably went out to a restaurant. You walk in, they take down your name and number on a register, they seat you, and you could actually be going back to the same restaurant multiple times, or you could go to the same brand at different outlets.
Correct.
And yet every time you being recognized was dependent on the manager or the waiter physically recognizing you.
True.
So technology was not playing any role in helping the restaurants recognize their customers.
Right.
And that is what we decided to sort of solve. So in 2015, we acquired a company called Inresto, which was helping restaurants recognize their customers. And I think the best use case, for example, if you obviously Bangalore, everyone's been to Toy. So if you go to Toy, you have to enter your details into a tablet, which is the front desk, and then they allocate tables to you basis that. So that is Inresto at work.
Right.
So we acquired Inresto in 2015, have managed to scale it up over the last 3 years. Right now around 6,000 odd restaurants are using Inresto. And yet we felt that there was still one element that was missing, which was that even though the restaurants could start recognizing you and start seating at your table, they still did not know what you were ordering, because everything that was being recorded in the POS system, that's where the billing was happening, was actually, there was no way to connect the order to the consumer. So I could go to a restaurant and I could sit on a table number 5 and I could order 20,000 rupees worth of food and drinks, but the next time I walked back in the same restaurant, they had no clue what I had ordered, what sort of customer I was, what my likes or dislikes were. So as a result, we decided we had to go deep into that space as well. And we ended up acquiring a company called Talkus in late 2018, which is a POS or a point of sale company. And through them, with the integration between Inresto and Talkus, we've moved beyond then restaurants, helping them just recognize their customers, to actually helping them personalize their experience for the consumer, because now they know who you are, they know how many times you've been, and now they also know what you like, dislike basis your past ordering. So overall, in a nutshell, that's what we focused on over the last few years, building a B2C platform and a B2B platform for the restaurants, and we're the only ones who are able to connect the B2B and the B2C piece together to make a complete integrated play. And that's been the journey in a nutshell over the last few years.
Right. So while we are still on the topic of the dining out experience, you were telling me that how that is your prime focus.
Absolutely.
To encourage people to go out, experience the ambience, the food, everything. So let's break it down for a layman, for a regular user. What is it like? Let's say I want to go out today. How do I go about it? How do I go with the app? What is the entire...
Absolutely. So, when a user in today's world decides to go out, first of all, he's spoiled for choices. He doesn't know where to go out. So that's the first hurdle that we help them cross. Once you get on the Dineout app, you can select where you want to go out basis your area or basis the cuisine, or basis offers, discounts. So there are multiple ways that we help you narrow down on a selection. And then once you've decided a restaurant, it's simple. You just reserve your table online through the app, and that's it. Like it's just one click, and then your reservation is confirmed. You get a certain discount basis your reservation. When you walk into the restaurant, they know who you are because you've reserved, or even if you've not reserved, if you've reserved through a different channel, because Inresto is there, they know who you are. If you use the Dineout app to make the payment, you get a further cashback on that, and that actually helps you save more. And as a result of this, and the other advantage of paying through the Dineout app is that it reduces the entire time taken to make the bill payment. Right. So overall, what we offer to the end consumer is convenience, savings, and reducing the time taken to sort of dine out. So and that's essentially what it is. So recently you have expanded to international territories as well. So if you can talk about that, where all you have expanded and what is the strategy going behind it? Absolutely. So you're right to say that we've gone outside India, but we're very focused in what we want to approach outside India. So outside India is just pure B2B. So we're not doing B2C outside India. And the reason for that is that we believe that the challenges that are faced by the restaurateurs or restaurateurs in India are same as the challenges they're facing outside India as well. Not recognizing their customers, not understanding or what the customers' likes and dislikes are. And plus, it's getting more and more difficult to today run a restaurant operationally, because the cost associated with the restaurants are rising. Rentals are going up, wage cost is going up, food costs are going up. So it becomes very important for a restaurant to actually get operational efficiency, and that's what our B2B products are doing with in Resto and Talkus, and it's got a supply chain management tool as well. So we've recently started expanding outside India over the last 1 year. We've gone to the Middle East, we've gone to Africa. We've just entered into a partnership with for example Eat Out in Kenya. Now they are a B2C platform, and they do not have any B2B products for the restaurants. So now we've entered into an agreement where they will sort of sell license our B2B products in Resto and Talkus to their restaurant partners, because we believe that the value that we offer on the B2B side to a restaurant partners is unmatched, and because it's one system that does everything from the time of when a customer walks in to the time when a customer orders, pays his bill, walks out, it covers the entire use case, and the data talks to each other, and it is sort of, it helps the restaurant make meaningful sort of decisions regarding their day-to-day operations. So we believe that our focus for international is always going to be B2B for the next few years. But having said that, we're expanding into India as well quite rigorously. So we believe that the dining out market in India is not just limited to the top sort of 8 to 10 cities, the metros. We've seen a huge resurgence or a huge coming out of eating out culture in the top tier 2 cities as well, such as Lucknow or Indore or Kanpur or Surat. More and more people are dining out in these cities, and that is testament to the fact that the top brands across India, which were operational in Delhi or Bombay or Bangalore now, are opening up outlets in these tier 2 cities. And we believe that the market over there is same or similar to the top market in the top 8 cities in India. People are eating out, people are spending the same amount of money. So as a focus strategy in India, we're expanding our B2C offerings across tier 2 cities. For example, we've just launched Jaipur and Chandigarh and Goa over the last sort of 3-4 months. We're launching Lucknow and Indore in the by the end of May actually.
Then so we get to know this first.
Yes, absolutely. And over the next sort of 6-7 months, we plan to be operational in 20 Indian cities, where users can not only reserve their table, but they can pay their bills at the restaurant. They can use Gourmet Passport. So the entire array of B2C products is something that we are sort of launching across cities in India.
So Ankit, we know that when it comes to expansion, while tier 1 cities have the opportunity and everything, but you have to ultimately look down to these tier 2, tier 3 cities. So what opportunities and what value addition do they bring to the table, if you could elaborate on that a bit?
So I think the biggest value addition that they bring to us is obviously the fact that there are users who are eating out every single day in these cities. That's a market that's waiting to be tapped.
Has it been explored enough, do you think?
I don't think so. Again, over the last year and a half, we've seen a lot of exploration happening from big brands going into these cities and people wanting to sort of eat out. The culture of dining out has also changed over the last sort of few years. When we started off in 2012, 13, 14, dining out was looked upon as sort of an experience-led thing that when we want to go celebrate something. But over the last few years, the demographic changes, like more and more people have traveled looking to eat out. More and more people are now nuclear families, both husband and wife working, so people want to go out, and it's stopped from being just an experience-led thing to sort of a necessity. Exactly. I don't after hard days at work I want to unwind. I don't want to do that at home. I want to go grab a meal with my friends or grab a drink with my colleagues or whatever it is. So now as more and more people are going out, we believe that the market is about or has already started to explode. And a lot of research, latest numbers show that the dining out market is approximately 5 times larger than the dining in market. The same user, when he's dining in, spends on average 250-300 rupees on a meal. That same user, when he's going out, spends 2,000 rupees on a meal, because it's about the experience. When you go out, it's more than just the food. It's about the ambience. It's about the experience. So that is what is helping the entire the boom in the industry. And it's evident with the fact that a lot of big brands are opening up in India. The Indian brands are actually expanding across geographies, and territories. And we believe in our estimate, for example, that the dining out market in India on a user basis is approximately that 1 billion diners are dining out in India alone annually. That's a huge number, when you think about it in perspective.
Right.
And when every single time in India when a user dines out, the average spend per person is approximately 500 to 600 rupees.
Correct.
So you can imagine how big that's at $7-8. That's a huge market that is waiting to be sort of explode.
Right.
And we believe that we're right now just getting started. So for example, we are right now seating approximately I would say 2.5 million diners across our partner restaurants every month.
Right.
This year we'll probably seat approximately 40 million diners. So that's still just 4% of the overall dining out experience in India. So that market and the opportunity is absolutely huge, and that's what we want to capitalize upon. And from a restaurant's perspective also, a restaurant makes more money when a customer dines out at their outlet rather than or delivery, because the margins are a lot higher in dining out. There are a lot of different ways you can combine, like you have you can upsell certain things, people want to drink as well. So the entire thing combined together makes it a lot more profitable option for the restaurants to get customers in and fill their tables.
For you, I believe cutting out on the entire delivery aspect helps you become a more sustainable business.
Absolutely.
Right.
See, when we talk about delivery as a business, right? There's a lot of logistical parts involved. There's the rider, that's the cost of fuel, etc. And then when delivery, you have to be 30 minutes or whatever fast, and the food goes cold. So there are a lot of logistical things that need to be taken care of, which actually drives the cost up. When we talk about the dining out, for us, it's the app and we connect directly to the restaurant. So there is no logistical or from a operational perspective, there's less hassles, and it's pure tech driven. If a restaurant is on in resto using and is on dine out, a customer reserves the table, it immediately goes to in resto, his table is waiting, he's recognized. So it's actually pure tech driven.
Right.
And restaurants obviously also understand that. We speak to restaurateurs obviously on a daily basis. And for a restaurateur, the dining in part is approximately 70% of his or 80% of his revenue, and only 15 to 20% comes from delivery. So obviously a restaurant is not going to be able to survive just on delivery. He needs those customers walking into his door every day.
Of course.
And that's a shift that we've seen, the mindset, and we believe restaurateurs have started to obviously understand this. They want more and more. And as Dine Out, we're obviously helping the dining out industry to grow. We're inculcating that culture. So I'll tell you what I mean by that. So for example, we do this annual festival every year, which is called the Great Indian Restaurant Festival.
Right. You were telling me about it. Yes.
It started off in 2017 as a concept, and over the last 3 years, it's grown into this huge annual event.
Right.
So in 2019, in February, we got 6,000 restaurants across 11 cities to offer a flat 50% discount at their restaurants to the Dine Out user base. Now, that's huge, the feedback that we got was a lot of restaurants saw a lot of new customers walking in. People were able to try new dishes. So the idea is that we want to promote dining out.
So that was the third edition.
That was a third edition.
Correct.
To give you an idea of how it's grown, the first edition we only had 1,000 restaurants.
Okay.
The second edition we had 2,000 restaurants.
Right.
The third edition we had 6,000 restaurants.
So that's like double the growth.
It's triple. It's actually so it's been a great thing, and no one had actually ever done a restaurant festival pan India.
Right.
So for us, it was the first time we sort of wanted to sort of do that. It was successful, and now we've evolved it into an annual property where we get our restaurants on board. So this time we had some big brands such as Pizza Hut participating, KFC participating, and then obviously the other regional brands as well. We had the Socials and the Farzi Cafes and the Absolute Barbecue. So it's a celebration of going out, that, and the restaurants love it, the consumers love it, and it just helps people to sort of dine out.
Right.
So
we were talking about so many big brands.
Yes.
So that makes me think that you are operating in the food tech space.
Yes.
Which is gradually getting crowded up. And each day we see a new player in the market, and you have unicorns to compete with. So how do you ensure you stay above the crowd? How do you ensure your offering remains unique and customers keep coming to you?
Absolutely. So I think that's a great question. So I think one thing that helps us sort of, stand out is the fact that we've always focused on dining out. That's the use case that we first picked up, and that's still the use case that we are sort of helping people with today. Because we, as I said earlier, we believe that dining out by itself is a huge industry, is a huge problem to be solved. As more and more restaurants open up, the problem of discoverability is going to increase. Can I help a consumer decide where he wants to go out in the shortest amount of time possible?
Exactly.
Can I help him when he's going out save money on every meal? So those things are some things that we've actually sort of stuck to, and we've evolved over time to cover these use cases. One of the interesting things is that if you're a regular Dineout user, if you reserve your table in advance and then if you use Dineout Pay, you can save up to 50% on your bill without even having to do anything. That's it. You get a 15-20% from the restaurant. You get a 20% cashback from Dineout. You can use the cashback to pay 25% of the bill. So the entire mechanism, the way we've sort of built it and structured it, is that every single user can save up to 50% on his everyday meal. Now that's something that's huge. That's something that's providing great value to the consumers. That's something that's providing great value to the restaurateurs, because now the person who is actually thinking of dining in can actually dine out at a much lower cost on a daily basis. So that's the whole idea. We've stuck to that, and because we've stuck to that, we believe that we are the largest dining out platform in India today. As I mentioned earlier, we're seeding 2.5 million diners a month at around 15,000 partner restaurants in 11 cities, and we're growing on a monthly basis, obviously. So that's what is helping us sort of stand out from the competition, from the large unicorns, because we're sticking to the core belief that we had, which can we get more and more people to dine out. And because what I mentioned earlier, there is no operational sort of logistical cost and all, we're able to sort of run the business probably not spending as much money as the others are spending.
So standing out, being sustainable for close to a decade now, like 2 years, less than a decade, that could be an excruciating process for a founder, for a startup guy. So how do you stay motivated when you're not ideating, when you're not working on Dineout? What do you do? What is your idea for detox?
That's a great question. So when we started off in 2010, when the first idea first came, we never actually thought where we would be 8 years later. And today when we look back on the journey, obviously we've come a long way. We started off with the four of us, myself, Sahil, Vivek and Nikhil, the four co-founders. Today our team is nearly 700 people across 11 cities. And obviously it's been a great journey. It's been a journey of a lot of learnings. Obviously, like any other startup journey, it has had its shares of ups and downs and difficult times. But I think what has obviously kept us going on a daily basis is, first, obviously, we understand and we actually believe that the market is huge and there's a lot that needs to be done. We still believe that we're sort of starting out. But more importantly than that, I think what you mentioned, it's important to sort of switch off from time to time.
Take time out for yourself.
Absolutely. And being in this entire space, obviously I love food and I'm a foodie. I try to keep my waistline in control, but it becomes difficult. But yeah, so I love cooking. That's something I do to de-stress a lot. Over the years, because of I now have so many restaurateur friends and chefs. We know that I just keep learning new things every day. I love to cook. I can cook 7 different cuisines, and it's a mandate for me that I want to learn a new cuisine every year.
Fabulous.
So that's something I'm doing on a regular basis. But also I love to read.
Any new book, any recent book that you have read?
So I'm always reading a book, and the way I read a fiction and I read non-fiction. So on the non-fiction side, I'm reading about Alibaba right now, and it's a great story. It's The Alibaba World by Porter Weissman. It's absolutely fantastic. The book I read before that was The Shoe Dog by Phil Knight about Nike. That's an excellent book. On the fiction side, I've started reading a lot of Indian authors. I think Indian authors these days are doing fantastic work. I love Ravi Subramaniam, his work, the bankster, the fraudster, and all of that. And so I was an investment banker before I started Dineout, so there's a slight connect that I can imagine. So that's what I do. Love to eat, love to love to cook, love to read, love to travel a lot as well. So traveling to not just newer cities in India but outside India. I want to travel to at least 2 new countries every year to soak up the culture. And I think those are the things that when you sort of unwind when you and you take time off, it helps you come back to work a lot more sort of motivated. Absolutely.
Right. So guys, go read up those books. It's suggestion from the man himself. And next time you are going out for a dining experience, try Dineout.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks.